Your muscles are dying right now while you're watching this. Not from injury, not from illness, just from existing. It's called sarcopenia. And here's the part nobody tells you. It doesn't start at 60 or even 50. It starts at 30. And by the time you notice it, a jar you can't open, stairs that wind you, a bag that feels heavier than it used to, you've already lost more than you think. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly why your muscles start disappearing in your 30s and the 4 mechanisms that determine whether you fight back or fade out. Let's correct a major misconception first. Most people think muscle loss is something that happens to old people, a switch that flips at retirement. It's not a switch, it's a slope, and you're already on it. Starting around age 30, your body begins losing roughly 3 to 5% of its muscle mass every decade, and that rate quietly accelerates after 60. Think of it like a bank account with a tiny automatic withdrawal every month. You don't notice $5 disappearing, but 20 years of $5 withdrawals, and suddenly the account is empty. The reason this happens is a shift in the balance between 2 constant processes: muscle protein synthesis, your body building new tissue, and muscle protein breakdown, your body clearing old tissue out. In your 20s, synthesis wins. After 30, without intervention, breakdown slowly starts to win instead. The fix isn't panic, it's resistance. Research consistently shows that even 2 sessions of strength training per week is enough to flip that balance back in your favor, literally telling your body's machinery to keep building instead of clearing out. Here's the part almost nobody talks about because it's not about the muscle itself, it's about the wiring. Every muscle fiber you own is controlled by a nerve cell called a motor neuron. Think of it like an electrician wired to a light bulb. No electrician, no light, no matter how good the bulb is. As you age, some of these motor neurons start to die off. When that happens, the muscle fiber they control doesn't just weaken, it goes completely dark, disconnected, unusable. Here's the fascinating part. Your body has a backup system. Nearby healthy motor neurons will actually reach out and adopt some of the abandoned muscle fibers, reconnecting them to keep the lights on. But this backup system has a catch. It works far better in muscles that stay active. Sedentary muscle fibers are far more likely to get orphaned permanently. This is why explosive movement matters, not just steady effort. Fast twitch fibers, the ones responsible for power and speed, are the first to lose their wiring, which is why simply walking isn't enough. You need movements that ask your body to move with some speed or force. A fast step up, a controlled jump, a quick push, even briefly a few times a week. These keep the electrician on the payroll. You can train perfectly and still lose the battle if you get this next part wrong. As we age, something strange happens. Your muscles become less sensitive to protein. Scientists call this anabolic resistance. In your 20s, a modest amount of protein is enough to trigger muscle building. After 40, that same amount barely moves the needle. Your body needs a noticeably higher dose just to get the same building signal. Think of it like a lock that used to open with a light touch and now needs a firm push. Most people over 30 are still eating like they're 22, spreading protein thin across the day or loading it all at dinner. But research shows the building signal responds best when protein is distributed across 3 or 4 meals, each containing enough to actually turn the key. This isn't about massive amounts. It's about hitting a real threshold consistently, meal after meal, instead of one large serving that only partially unlocks the door. The 4th mechanism is the quietest and arguably the most sabotaging. As we age, many people develop a low, chronic hum of inflammation in the body, not the kind you feel like a swollen ankle, but a background static that never fully switches off. Scientists sometimes call this inflammaging. This constant low-grade inflammation actively interferes with your body's ability to build muscle, essentially putting static on the line between the building signal and the muscle itself. Where does this inflammation come from? 3 main sources: poor sleep, chronic stress, and visceral fat, the deep abdominal fat that surrounds your organs and behaves almost like an inflammatory organ of its own. This is why someone can train hard and eat well, but if they're sleeping 5 hours a night and stressed year-round, their results quietly underperform. The signal is there, but the line is full of static. So let's bring this together. Muscle loss after this innocent one problem. It's 4 systems working against you at once. The slow slope of breakdown overweighing repair, dewiring disconnecting from disuse, the protein signal getting harder to trigger, and background inflammation jamming the whole line. But here's the encouraging part. Every one of these is reversible at any age. Lift twice a week, 2 shift debalance. Add 1 bust off speed on our power to keep your wiring intact. Spread real protein across your meals to keep unlocking the building signal and protect your sleep and stress levels to clear the static off the line. The muscle you have at 60 isn't decided at 60. It's decided by the decisions you're making right now in your 30s and 40s, while it still feels optional. If this helped you understand what's actually happening inside your body, subscribe. There's a lot more to uncover, and let me know in the comments. Which of these 4 mechanisms do you think is your weakest link right now?